Salam, everyone. I just gotta ask, who's cosplaying? See, cosplaying is when you dress up as something that you aren't or someone you aren't. I am a Muslim woman. I wear what a Muslim woman wears. I dress like that. So, who's cosplaying here? One, I am Muslim. Two, not a fake woman. I'm a real woman, just as any other woman out there. I mean, we should have access to healthcare. We should have, access to our surgeries, therapists, hormones, other, gender affirming care for everybody, no matter the age. Let me ask you this. How do we classify sports? We classify them between men and women, not male and female.
Interesting point there. And when Muhammad unveils the burqa, he's not going to be happy with his new Muslim wife. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy and absurd news to get into today, as of course the situation is looking more tumultuous than ever for the Biden 2024 presidential run, as the situation looks really bad for them, as it's fair to say that they probably will be resorting to some very desperate actions, as of course there is actually some good news, as we have a public disclosure about the story of the decade that many powerful people want to go away, and we will make sure that it does not. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is, of course, going viral on social media, highlighting, someone at L__G__B getting asked some interesting questions that they definitely had some very interesting answers to. Another person that people want answers from is, of course, Joe Biden, who still, even though he's polling extremely low, even though there's even fellow Democrats going after him, telling him, please stop. Don't do this to yourself, to this country, is still remaining strong in his hopes of becoming president once again in 2024. Moving very confidently in what looks like an absolutely clear losing strategy, as the Washington Post is reporting that he is increasingly frustrated with his dismal poll numbers, as even the Biden campaign co-chair is admitting that she is afraid that Biden will, quote, lose big, as issues like the economy and the border crisis are becoming more and more of an issue, with insane clips like this coming from El Paso, Texas, showing thousands of people amassing on the southern border, where this country has been allowing them and incentivizing them to come in, only exacerbating Bidenomics and, of course, the Build Back Better policies that have been fleecing and destroying this American middle and lower class. As, of course, with more immigration, we have the higher cost of housing, the loss of wages that, of course, are cheapened with supply and demand economics. Add that to the fact that this government has been acting as a vessel for corruption, enriching themselves, establishing policies that help them, all on the backs of the American people that are dealing with more financial insecurity than ever, and a larger, bigger financial crash that many experts believe is coming right after this election cycle, as the international foreign policy of the Biden administration has just been as atrocious, laying many countries to waste, arming terroristic organizations, emboldening and only strengthening countries like China and Russia that are essentially looking to have America's lunch. And with many failed policy endeavors in Ukraine and Afghanistan and in many other places around the world, what will the Biden administration do to address a lot of these very serious concerns and aggressions that it has put on the American people? Well, it's not going to address any of that. It's going to keep going after their political opponents, suing them and trying to throw them in jail for holding documents and expressing opinions. This, as the lead political frontrunner against Joe Biden, is facing 750 years. His lawyers, his associates are all being sued, are all being prosecuted in state, federal, and even civil cases, as Rudy Giuliani is being sued again by a Georgia election worker days after a jury ordered him to fork over $148 million for saying things that they didn't like. This as this White House is doubling down on their political prosecution of their political opponents, which is only expected to ramp up with more of their policy failures that they, of course, will never address or be held accountable for, leading us into a very dangerous situation, a situation that, of course, I talk about on LukeUnfilteredDotCom, as I have special videos, special broadcasts available just for members. By the way, I'm here at AmFest, where, by the way, we were just on stage with Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk, and it was an amazing show on the Timcast IRL podcast. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It was an extreme amount of fun to be a part of this. Also, while I am here, I am interviewing a lot of censored individuals who, of course, do not have a voice and have been stopped from expressing it. I have another exclusive interview waiting just for members right now of LukeUnfilteredDotCom, as of course I go all out trying to give you as much value as I can. You get 3 masterclasses, 150 plus tutorial homework linked videos where you could learn things like how to survive in any situation, how to travel the world for free, how to be an independent journalist. Those 3 masterclasses all available for free for members. We also have seed oil cards, crap lists of things that you should be avoiding at the supermarket, a forum, a members-only store, tickets, contests, giveaways, in real-life meetups, you name it. We do it all on LukeUnfiltered.com. Click the link right now in the description below. Sign up for less than 50 cents a day. It's even cheaper if you sign up for a year. When you do, you get access to 10 years plus of videos and exclusive content just for members, just centered towards helping you being the best, strongest, most amazing version of yourself. All of this as we got some really crazy, incredible news about the story of the decade today, as we are finding out that over 170 people that were tied with Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, a man who over 30 plus years on record procured small children for very powerful people to do whatever they wanted to do with, the associates that were a part of this larger racketeering, trafficking, and extortion operation will actually be named and released in court documents that will be unsealed in the next coming weeks. This being a major bombshell, major revelation for the people of America, who finally will get even just a little bit more insight into an operation that your tax dollars financed almost every step of the way. As, of course, a lot of people can't account for the mystery money that Jeffrey Epstein just magically had out of nowhere as he was violating and skirting all the rules in financial institutions, to the point where even banks had to settle with the victims here because of how many rules they broke in order to facilitate this trafficking and extortion operation. An operation that involved thousands of children here that were literally forced, pushed to do unspeakable things that we can't mention here on this particular broadcast. Disgusting, sick, horrible things. And now the individuals who are a part of this operation will be named, as Judge Loretta Preska just a couple hours ago ordered the release of a trove of long sealed documents since there was a settlement between Epstein and Virginia Roberts, documents that will disclose dozens of individuals who have been previously identified as Jane Does or John Does, who will now, quote, likely be identified with material tied to them, which is expected to be unsealed in the new year, 2024, in January, in just a few days from now. Unsealed in full. This, as it's important to note here, that many people knew who Mr. Epstein was. Very powerful individuals in our current establishment. Presidents, prime ministers, royalty, media moguls, celebrities, judges, prosecutors, police officers, FBI agents, all of these individuals played a role in some sick, twisted behavior that clearly there never has been some actual justice related to. As it's important to note here that a lot of the people who were clients here, that were participating in all of this, have essentially been given a get-out-of-jail-free card that they have been utilizing, as, of course, the system is complicit in all of this. And this is one reason why the system paid for this, prompted it up, carried it out, and now, more importantly, ran a cover-up operation on this entire matter. Now, it's also important to note here that there have been judges in this case that have ruled that there's so much information that is so shocking related to this case that it needs to be kept secret away from the general public, as there are troves of documents related to this case that are still sealed, that are still classified, denied to the American people, as federal judges have literally ruled that the truth is so shocking that it would upend the fabric of society. And when you look at the individuals involved here, that absolutely makes sense here. Now, as we await for these individuals to be named, it's also important to note here that the judge has actually given these individuals 14 days to appeal this decision. Will it be appealed here? Well, let's be honest here. The big players, the people who are really, really involved here, their names are probably the names that we will never see in our lifetimes. As it's important to note here that the FBI that took the hard drives, the videotapes, the photographs in Jeffrey Epstein's safe and then magically lost them, highlights clear corruption and wrongdoing from the very top. Now, do you expect the people from the top to actually expose themselves? No, not unless there's little children around, as there is a plethora of overwhelming amount of evidence, photos, videos, documents, and files that are still being kept away from the general public, as even mainline Republicans are coming out and saying that their colleagues in Congress have been, quote, compromised over the flight logs surrounding Jeffrey Epstein that even has individuals like RFK Jr. on them. Now, who will be some of these recruiters? Who will be some of these does that were a part of this operation? And why are they being released now is a question that my conspiracy mind is coming to right now, as a lot of people are saying we need to protect this judge at all costs, as there was a previous judge in a very similar case that essentially had their family members targeted and taken out. Now, whatever information comes out, we of course will be following it very closely, as we will be trying to connect the many pieces here that the U.S. federal government does not want you connecting, as the levels of sinisterness, the levels of evil that actually routinely go on through your tax dollars is something that of course is worth paying attention to, as if the U.S. government is capable of committing such horrible, atrocious actions to small children, all in the name of political power, we kind of have to ask ourselves, what are they willing not to do for political power, as they have already done some really outright sinister and evil things. Never forget, this is not private individuals. These are government-linked people that used your tax dollars to take thousands of children and do unspeakable things to them that we can't mention here on this particular broadcast. Of course, we get into a lot of this stuff on LukeUnfilteredDotCom in an uncensored way. Check that out. Sign up for that, because you do. That's why I am still here. Thank you so much for watching this video, sharing this video. I've been going through a lot of different emotions. It's been an absolutely crazy time here in Phoenix, Arizona at AmFest. And onward we go towards the 2024 that is going to be a lot crazier than I think a lot of people have imagined. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.